You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. And when the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said. Boy, you've got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. As the biggest Toy Story fan in the world, I am beyond excited for Toy Story 4! You won't believe it because, I got the Toy Story shirt. I love Woody and Buzz so much, and I'm gonna take y'all back to when it all began 24 years ago, back in 1995 for this movie review. I am so excited, so let's hit it now! Toy Story is a 1995 3D animated film developed by the Walt Disney Pixar Company, and it stars the voices of Tom Hanks and Tim Allen. So, this movie is about a toy named Woody. He's head of all of the toys a part of that belong to a kid named Andy. But one day, Andy gets a birthday party, and in that birthday party, Andy gets a new toy that has so many cool gadgets and high tech, and the name of that toy is named Buzz Lightyear. But once Buzz Lightyear takes over all of the toys, he becomes the most popular out of all of the toys. And Woody gets really jealous because he's beginning to see Andy, playing with Buzz Lightyear a lot more than Woody. And Andy was about to shift his interest to more on Buzz and Woody. And this movie is just very focused on the ideas of how people can get jealous of one another and popularity. And it has those type of moral lessons that are very relevant in this film, which I find really cool.
Watch yourself. Walt, who goes there?
Don't shoot! It's okay. Friends.
Do you know these life forms?
Yes. They're Andy's toys.
Phew, 1995. What a great year for film. Toy Story, Braveheart, GoldenEye, Apollo 13, Heat. You name them, and I'm just very shocked and surprised that this is a movie that has been inspiring generation after generation, one after the other, for 24 years so far. And Toy Story has to be one of the most revolutionary movies ever made, period.
Greetings. I am Buzz Lightyear. I come in peace.
In my opinion, from the way that I see Toy Story, I believe 1995 was the year that 3D animated films became very popular and dominating, because when you watch this film, you just could not believe that this movie came out 24 years ago on the big screen. And look at today, we've got, the DreamWorks films, we've got new Pixar films, and it's crazy, how revolutionary 3D animation has been. But Toy Story was the one that really began that movement, that people on computers can create something new, a very full-length feature film where we can be engaged with all of these characters and these lifelike characters. And when you watch the animation, it's just awesome. You cannot believe that this is a movie that's over 20 years old and it still holds up from the way that these characters were animated. And that is what I find so glorious about Toy Story. This movie not only excels in its animation, it also excels in its writing, and that is what is so fantastic, because sometimes when you have movies that get so focused on effects and showing off what they can do, they can sometimes lose focus on the plot and the story. But Toy Story does not do that. Toy Story has a film that is basically a comedy about jealousy, and those are the things that we find really, really funny when you have a toy that is just jealous of another toy. But once you watch this movie, and when you get really into the pacing from rising action to falling action, and even to the climax, you begin to realize that the writing is just genius. It is really hilarious that these writers had to come up with the idea about, okay, how are these two toys going to get along? How are Woody and Buzz going to form this friendship even if they hate each other in the first act? But how are we going to resolve that in the third act? And those are things that happen throughout the film.
You are a toy! You weren't the real Buzz Lightyear, you're an action figure! You are a child's plaything!
You are a sad, strange little man.
Yes, the writing is very memorable. There are a lot of memorable quotes like, "To infinity and beyond," or "You are a toy." But the other thing I absolutely adore about the writing is giving characterizations to the characters. And the main purpose of this movie is focusing on Woody and Buzz and their relationship with each other. And that is what makes a Toy Story a Toy Story. Because you have these two toys that are just trying to get along, but once they have trouble getting along, then they get into even more trouble. But once they start to build this friendship, they begin to realize that, that they've got a friend in them, just like that song by Randy Newman. And it's really cool to see how these two characters on this Blu-ray have this type of conflict, this emotional conflict. But once you see the entire film, and once the film starts to build up into its action, then the film gets really exciting and entertaining and even very emotional from what I can remember. Through those characters that you were introduced in throughout the entire film, they become alive thanks to the talented voices of Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, because those two gentlemen did a fantastic job of making Woody and Buzz alive. Because when you hear Tom Hanks or Tim Allen speak, you automatically think like, whoa, Woody and Buzz are talking to me? And once you hear them, you're able to like really dive into their characters. And I really love about how when they did this voice acting, this recording, is that they really also did fill into the shoes of what these toys are going through, adding these emotional depths and what they're feeling. And basically, because of their voices, they're giving toys feelings, making them alive.
Buzz Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear, thank goodness. We've got trouble.
Trouble? Where?
Down there. Just down there. A helpless toy. He's trapped, Buzz.
The best thing I actually really adore and what I'm thankful about Toy Story is that it's taught me that you are never too old to enjoy Toy Story, because this is a movie that is very enjoyable for anybody. Kids, teenagers, young adults. It's inspired generation after generation, but this is also a movie I grew up ever since I was a little kid. Throughout all my life, I've always loved Toy Story. This was always my go-to film whenever I felt very afraid about life, or maybe if I just wanted to have fun with my toys while watching this movie. And this movie is also teaching people that, when change happens, sometimes it's for the best or sometimes for the worst, but it's also trying to teach people about how to react to change, and whether you like it or not, life changes all the time, and when new things happen, you just have to let it happen and right in front of you. And that's what the character of Woody goes through, because of, when he sees Buzz Lightyear, this new toy that has more gadgets than these ordinary toys, he has to kind of face that type of reality. And it's something that's very applicable even to today's world, about things changing in our lives and even around the world, and how we're trying to be very aware about our environment. And that is what is very inspiring about Toy Story. Not only does Toy Story reflect on the theme of change, it also reflects on the theme of miracles, because it proves that miracles can happen and they can become a reality to heal you up. Because that's something that actually always makes me cry whenever I watch Toy Story. And the thing I'm going to refer to is going to be into spoilers, and I'm not going to do the tear jerking, but it is the scene where Buzz Lightyear realizes that he is not the real Buzz Lightyear. He realizes that he is just a toy and he can't really fly. And when he does a first attempt, of course, he breaks one of his arms, and he gets into this minor, misbelief / depression. And then later, throughout the final chase of the film, Buzz Lightyear is strapped into this rocket. He carries Woody. And then later, they let go of the rocket, and then Buzz flies with Woody, and then Woody goes like, "You're flying!" And then to infinity and beyond. It's just so beautiful.
Hey, Buzz! You're flying!
This isn't flying. This is falling with style.
To infinity and beyond!
I love you so much, Pixar. You are very inspiring and very positive for everybody out there to believe in miracles. And that is why Toy Story is such a wonderful, wonderful film. This movie has been a pop culture icon for a ton of audiences out there. I mean, we even have Toy Story Land now in Disney World, and we're getting Toy Story 4 this year, and we even got a Buzz Lightyear TV show back in like the early 2000s or the 90s But that's how powerful Toy Story has been for film historians, for film viewers, for audiences. That is why Toy Story is so awesome. And because of that, Toy Story definitely deserves a 10 out of 10! That's how impactful Toy Story has been on me since I was a child, because sure, it's a childhood film, but it is a film that I still rewatch a lot even as a young adult, and that's how much love and passion I have for Toy Story in general. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I actually loved wearing my Toy Story shirt for y'all while reviewing this film, because I thought it was very appropriate to, hold on to my Toy Story Blu-ray and talk about my love for Toy Story. So, I will definitely do a review on Toy Story 2 very, very soon, because I'm doing a series of Toy Story reviews leading up to Toy Story 4 on June 21. And this clip, just has me saying Toy Story, so thank you very much for the Toy Story video, guys.